Hi, welcome to Needing a Meeting. My name is Carol. I'll be your host, and I'm here with Steve, and Christy should be here any second. And we'll be reading from the Smart Friends and Family handbook again. And it's coping with lapses, but not as an alcoholic, but as a person who falls into the behavior of the loved one of the addict. So, yeah. How are you,
Behavior
Steve?
of the behavior of the loved one. Oh, okay. All right. Some reason that didn't compute for a second.
Well, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I guess they called to confirm my appointment for my knee surgery on Monday,
Okay. And that's what day?
the 13th, and they called to confirm my meds and all that. So I guess it's on.
Unless, yeah, unless something happens and an emergency comes up and they can't use the slot, you're still on for Monday.
Unless there's an emergency surgery, is what Vicky says.
Oh, there.
There she is.
Hey, here I am.
Hey,
It's
I just heard the new Beatles song.
Oh,
oh
I
yeah,
saw that
is
on
it good?
Netflix.
Yeah.
I
I just
haven't.
watched the video on it was like boy, it was a grabber. It was a heart grabber.
Mm,
Really?
Mhm. Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
what the song was about, or just because?
It was a song that John Lennon had written
Oh,
and they went ahead and produced it as a Beatles song and just released it.
nice.
And so I watched it, I heard it and watched the video. And boy, it was poignant. Really was.
I have no idea why I haven't seen that yet.
It just came out, literally.
Oh, it's been on Netflix for 2 or 3 days.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't keep up with Netflix anymore. I don't even know why we keep a subscription there.
We have subscriptions to everything, but I don't watch TV. Michael does, and we share our passwords with like my mom and everything. So it's more so everybody else can kind of.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a thing that they've been trying to crack down on. Hi,
Yeah.
Annie.
Hi, Anik.
Hi. Yeah, we just pay extra to share the. I mean, I don't know how it goes, but
Have you seen Outlander on Stars?
No,
is
but
that
I know it's been a long running show that a lot of people really are into.
is
I love it.
Right
is
on.
that the one with where she time travels? Am I thinking?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I watched a little bit of it and I could not. It was
Really?
just a little. Yeah, yeah. There was
Little
some things that
doll.
I was like, huh?
Well,
Yeah.
apparently Mission
Little,
thinks I'm lovely.
My husband Michael loves it.
yeah.
But Sam Houston and Graham, whoever his uncle was in there, they have a show called Men in Kilts. You got to watch that. That is
Graham
a
McTavish and Sam
What's it?
yes,
Heughan.
Where can
yes.
you watch it?
It's on
Stars,
Stars.
Oh,
stars. It is hilarious. It is amazing. It is funny. It is great. I love those two together,
They got
and
a great chemistry.
they do wear kilts. Just
One's English and one's Scottish, and
yeah.
you can
Nisha, hi. Yay. Just going to be listening and working today. That's great. We love to see you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
I told you. She says, "Hey, lovelies," and I guess she was talking to me too.
Uh,
100%. Yes. It is a beautiful thing.
did we want to go ahead and get
It's good to be back in the chair. Yes, please, let's.
okay. Coping with lapses. So just so that y'all know, we're kind of skipping around throughout in this book, so this is not in order. But we try to think of like what's been going with the flow of what's been going on and what we've been talking about, so that it has a nice like cohesive flow to it. So,
Hey, if we're in the live chat, we can do whatever we want.
right? I know. So today is coping with lapses. Now, remember, this is not lapses from the addict's point of view. This is coming from the point of view of the person who is dealing with a loved one who is in addiction. Okay. Um, Implementing lifestyle changes is hard work, and few people do it perfectly. As discussed in a previous section, change is a process, not an event. Lapses and relapses are a natural part of the change process. They can occur when someone is trying to change any behavior. Lapses and relapses often occur in the change process of someone giving up addiction, and lapses and relapses often occur when someone is making other behavioral changes. Examples: changing habitual responses to a loved one's addiction, such as nagging, pleading, and threatening. Learning how to effectively respond to your own setbacks is in making changes to your habitual responses to your loved one is a key to successful changes. The difference between someone who gets stuck and finds their lapse turning into a full blown relapse and someone who gets back on track quickly lies in how they interpret the lapse. Lapses can be interpreted as failures, or they can be viewed as opportunities to learn what did not work. Plan more effective strategies for dealing with similar circumstances in the future. Maintaining motivation in the face of lapses and relapses is also an important component in any effective change process. What is a lapse? A lapse is a temporary setback in the process of changing your behavior. It is an occasion or number of occasions when you have been unable to stick to your goals for change and have gone back to your habitual ways of responding to your loved one's addictive behaviors. Examples: self-care. If you have committed to adding a 30-minute walk to your day as part of your self-care plan and find yourself distracted by other things and forgetting about the walk, that would be considered a lapse. Communication. If you have committed to using a positive communication style when talking to your loved one about a problem and then find yourself getting into a heated argument about the problem, that would be considered a lapse. Boundaries. As part of developing healthy boundaries for yourself, you may have committed to removing yourself when your loved one comes home intoxicated. If your loved one comes home intoxicated and instead of following your boundary plan and removing yourself, you instead get angry and yell at your loved one, that would be considered a lapse. What is a relapse? Unlike a lapse, which is temporary, I think that's important. Lapses are temporary. A relapse is when we lose sight of our goals for change and return to our old habits. Relapses involve a change in our state of mind. Sometimes we give up the changes we are trying to make because it seems too hard to keep going. We may eventually give up completely on the new behavior, especially if we aren't seeing any significant positive results of our efforts. Consequently, a relapse lasts much longer than a lapse. If we have an occasion or occasions of resorting to reacting and behaving in old unhelpful ways, but we are still committed to trying to develop new, more helpful behaviors, this would be considered a lapse rather than a relapse. However, repeated or prolonged lapses tend to lead to relapses. So it is important to take steps early to get back on track following a lapse.
Hang on, I want to interrupt a second. Christy, we're reading from the Smart Friends and Family Handbook.
Oh, yes.
We've been doing that for the last few times. So a lapse, we're talking about like somebody who is not the addict, but the loved one of the addict and wanting to change their behaviors around the unhealthy relationship, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. And, and honestly, I'm learning so much from all of this different perspectives and
It is a good, different perspective.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a nice one. And hi, Cosmic. Glad to see you here. Okay, what does it mean if I have a lapse? Am I doomed to relapse? I think that's a good question. Often, lapses occur when we encounter a situation that we cannot manage using our new strategies. This may happen because we planned for a situation, but the situation didn't end up being as we expected it, or we were unable to put our plan into action. We couldn't plan for a situation because the situation was unexpected. We didn't plan for a situation because we had been doing well for a while and thought we'd be okay. Having a lapse doesn't mean we have failed. It's simply a signal that we need to be prepared to handle the situation better the next time it occurs. Managing lapses. If you should have a lapse, remember to watch your self talk or your inner dialogue. Beating yourself up over the incident tends to be counterproductive and may lead to further lapses. If you feel so angry or disappointed in yourself that you start saying things like, I'm hopeless, I might as well give up, this will probably make it more difficult to move forward and get back on track.
Makes
Remember, you are human and therefore not 100% perfect.
sense.
So, why would your behavior be? I really like that. You're not perfect, so why would you behave perfectly?
Perfectly.
You know, I think that's a really, really good thing.
Mhm.
And just because we're sober doesn't mean we're behaving perfectly either.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. No one does.
Yeah.
Lapses are learning opportunities. Instead of beating yourself up, you might choose to view a lapse as a learning experience. First, accept what happened, then work out why it happened and what you could do differently next time. Some of the skills and strategies you've been working on with Smart Family and Friends may be of assistance with this. It's not possible to guarantee that you will never experience a lapse. Lapses are a natural part of the process of changing. One of the best things you can do is to make a plan for what to do if you do have a lapse. People who have a plan for dealing with lapses are much less likely to relapse. If you don't make mistakes, you aren't really trying. Coleman Hawkins. I like that.
I love
Kind of like,
this.
isn't that good? The whole package. I just got messed up in the packaging.
That is awesome.
I love that.
That's
All
funny.
Amazing.
Coping with lapses. It can be difficult to have a plan for how to deal with a lapse, even if you never need to use it. Oh, no. It can be helpful, not difficult. It can be helpful to have a plan for how to deal with the lapse, even if you never intend to use it. The following steps can help you get back on track and avoid a relapse. Changing any self-defeating thoughts. Examine your thoughts about the lapse for challenging unhelpful beliefs. Below is an example using the scenario of getting angry and yelling at your loved one when she came home intoxicated, rather than sticking to your bound and removing yourself. So the unhelpful thought, I'm so helpless, I'll never be able to figure out how to deal with this situation. I might as well give up. Evidence for, I wasn't able to control my anger. Evidence against, I've been successful in lots of other situations. This was just one slip up. More helpful thought, I've been doing well controlling my anger and looking after myself in lots of situations up until now. This was just a slip up. I like that. I like how they called it a slip up. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Identify why the lapse happened. There is usually a trigger for a lapse. Think about it. What was going on before the lapse occurred? It may be something that happened earlier in the day. It may have been a feeling you had, being tired, stressed, or overwork events. Were you unprepared for the situation that happened? Did your plan not work for some reason?
Bless you.
But
Thank you. 3, think about what you could have done differently. It may help to use problem-solving skills to develop a plan for dealing with similar situations differently next time. Get extra support if you need to. Sometimes lapses can be a sign that you need extra support. It is better to seek extra help after a lapse than to keep struggling by yourself and risk having your lapse develop into a relapse. Use some of the content or some of the contacts in your support network. Thank you. Maintaining motivation. Behavior change is almost never easy. It can be difficult to maintain your motivation for change, especially in the aftermath of a lapse or when you see no visible results of your efforts. People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily.
Neither does what?
Bathing. Taking a
Oh,
Yeah. I like Zig Ziglar. There's some good quotes there.
I've listened to so much of his stuff in my
Yeah.
younger years of being in sales.
Yeah, he's
That
good.
is amazing.
To help maintain your motivation, it can be helpful to revisit your original reasons for wanting a change. Review your process so far and your goals for the future. And here's some questions you can answer. What were your original reasons for making a change? What results have you noticed so far? How have these results affected your life? What might the future look like if you continue to work towards change? Why is this important to you? What might the future look like if you stop working toward change? How do you feel about this? Oh, that's my famous question. What will help keep you motivated? Remember, change requires practice, patience, and persistence.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How old is this curriculum, this book, this program?
The program was started the same year I got sober, 1994.
The date in at the front here on the letter to everybody is dated October 2012. So they might have revised it.
Yeah, they've revised the handbooks
Mm-hmm.
here and
Because
there.
they just seem to use a lot of Zig Ziglar. Full of hope.
Hi! So
Good
glad
night.
you're here. Sweet dreams, love. Glad you stopped by.
Thank you for stopping by.
That means a lot.
I can't remember if Zig Ziglar was still alive in 1994, but they seem to use a lot of his quotes and things in this curriculum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they're really good and positive. They're
Oh,
healthy.
yeah.
So I love that. I love that.
I do too.
He had one saying that he'd cut out a card, or he made a cardboard circle
Mhm.
and had a bunch of those printed off with the words "to it" on it. And so he'd give them to people when they'd say, "Oh, I'll get around to it." So it had "round to it" on.
Yeah. Those
Uh,
used to be a thing when I was a kid. Round to it. It was just
That's a Zig Ziglar thing.
I've never heard of that. That's cool though.
Yeah,
I mean,
those were all over the place in the 70s, especially the
Really?
early 70s. But he passed away in 2012, it says here.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Nice. Well, good. So, do you guys have any thoughts on lapses, relapses, any from a different perspective?
I'm kind of handcuffed my wife because my wife is taking a nap right next to me.
Oh,
Okay.
well, I mean, I've kind of functioned in my relapse as far as how I do all those things. I nag, I throw fits, all of it. I do the whole. I'm the whole package.
Well, yeah. My wife, and she knows this, so I'm gonna say it right in front of her. Her temp after I got sober, her temper took a long time to taper down.
I bet so.
Yeah, she's agreeing.
Yeah, well, understandably so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait till our interview on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
She's
That-
like, I thought she'd be nervous. She's like, no big deal. Yeah.
Nice. That's
Nice.
awesome. Well, maybe she's heard us enough. She's like, they're good people.
I think she has.
Cosmic. I'm very honest when I lapse with my friends because it helps keep me accountable and they don't judge me at all for it.
Wow.
That's the
good.
right group of people to
Yes.
be that way, that open with. That's good.
I am never completely safe. I am 1 second away from relapse and 1 second into being sober. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. You know, and of course, I'm coming from the addict side of the lapse
We've
and
gone
the
over
relapse. I mean,
Mhm.
I could foster a healthier relationship around here.
Oh.
I
I just
could.
got some input.
Oh,
When you don't set boundaries and stop the same behaviors, as even though you're sober, but you're still doing the same behaviors, and you don't have the boundary set, that can keep the temper going too.
Mm. Mm.
100%.
She said it's just a reminder.
Nice.
I like that. It's a reminder.
My last relapse, I wrote every detail immediately afterwards, all the mess, pain, and loss of trust, and I read it often. That is awesome. Full of hope. That is good stuff. Such good stuff.
Yeah.
And and that's what journaling does, right? Is like allows us to get it down and go back and revisit it and even see how you've grown. How did you grow in that?
Yeah.
That was could you put Mish's comment back up there about the minute I feel safe?
Yeah.
That is my first step toward relapse, when I say I'm doing just fine.
Yeah. I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Just like when you were in it. Oh, I don't have a problem.
Yep. Every time I try to quit.
I don't have a problem. What's the problem?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of the attitude. That's the going thing.
Which is
Wow.
straight up addict behavior.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Even though, people are watching me self-destruct and they just so happen to care about me,
Mhm.
I don't know why we don't see that. Why we don't see, I guess we do, which
It's not as important.
all it tends to do if you're not ready to change is just put you into isolation.
It's
Mhm.
not as important as the behavior that you're thinking about.
Right.
Wow. I was going around asking everyone if I had a problem, and they all said no, because at that time I was high functioning and fun.
Okay. Yeah.
Is high functioning a thing that a lot of people are when they're in their addictions?
Yes.
Is that like an uncommon thing?
Yeah. Not everybody drinks themselves under the bridge.
No, and having a bottle on your desk at work, or not everybody's like that. It's
Mhm.
it's a habit that you do when you come home, or it's a habit you do after you stop after work, or whatever. But it's not everybody gets to the point where their hands shake if they don't have a drink.
Right. So that's how you hide it then. Like you go to work and you're in situations and you just okay.
And plus,
Okay.
it's such a societal norm to drink.
Mhm. Right.
So
Right.
you're just doing the norm.
Right.
What's the problem?
Right.
Hmm.
Then more trauma changed the way I drink. See, awakened. When I am high on my kryptonite, that's when I am at my best. Just ask my kids. I was super mom. Oh. Wow.
What was your kryptonite?
Yeah, that was my question.
So then how long does it take for people to generally see, if you're high functioning, to kind of see where that you maybe have a problem? Like,
Matt.
You know,
mm,
it's just like the frog boiling, you know.
ah,
If you know the story on how to cook a frog, you know, you don't put
yeah,
the frog in the boiling water because they're just going to jump right out.
right.
Put them in that coolish, tepid water, and
Turn
they're
up the
all
heat.
digging it, and you just slowly turn up the heat, and then
Mhm.
by the time they're realizing that they're burnt, that they're being cooked, it's too late. They can't jump out. They're cooked.
Right.
Kind of like
Oh,
that.
see,
And
go ahead.
and if you're really on, if an addict is really honest with themselves, I mean, we lie to each other, we lie to ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if we're really honest with ourselves, we know we have a problem.
Really?
Yeah, but who wants to do that?
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
I said, what's the
nobody,
problem? It's
because then you have to
illegal.
deal with it.
I'm over 21. I'm
Mhm.
an adult. I'm a grown ass woman. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So then a question for me, just because, between the people in the chat who have used drugs and the people who have used alcohol, is it just as easy to justify the drugs as the alcohol, or is it easier to justify an alcohol addiction because it is legal and it's not seen the same? Because we do know that in society things are kind of seen the same.
There's social stigmas with certain substances.
Yeah, I mean, is that did I ask that right?
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe I don't really have a way to answer that myself because
Oh,
my
I
drug
thought
of
you
choice was
wanted people in the
always going to be
chat.
my go-to was always going to be alcohol.
Right,
You know,
right.
I only just did drugs because they were there.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like fun at the time. You know?
Well, I was just wondering if it was easier to let me think how to ask this, because what I was going to say, I know the answer to. Well, let me kind of read some of the comments. Maybe somebody answered it.
Well, yeah. Christy says alcohol is more acceptable, but they're both addictions.
Both addictions, yeah.
When you are at your lowest off the drugs, that's when you need support.
Yes.
The worst comment.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's right on the head. Right the nail on the head.
Mhm.
Criminals says the alcoholics in the bars.
Oh yeah. Yeah, alcoholics likes to get all judgy about their, well, you're doing all that illegal stuff, which is so stupid. You know, the only reason that,
So are cigarettes, but they kill you too.
yeah,
Right.
you don't even have to be as old as 21 to start that up, Yeah, it's
Oh, interesting point. I lived close enough to Canada where we would take like an hour drive and go into either Sarnia or Windsor, and because the legal drinking age for beer at the time was 19.
yeah, and we used to go over
Told
to
me that.
Oklahoma and get what we called 3-2 beer because it was the we could, but the legal
Right.
drinking age was 18, I think, at the time when I was a kid and a high school kid and all that good stuff.
Wow.
But the beer wasn't as strong as the beer
Mhm.
here somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It was watered down. And of course, we didn't care. We just thought we were being sneaky and being adult.
Right.
It was an adult thing to do. And you're getting
Oh,
away
you were at the
with it.
time. Now in Oklahoma, weed is legal. Whoa.
Now the people who are in cahoots with us meth heads because we sold the weed, now these same people look down on us too, like they know us.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Like they never knew us. Yeah,
There's
addicts.
no addiction Olympics.
Say it. Addicts, especially when they get to be all high and mighty in their self-righteousness because they're doing a legal substance, they suck.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be
At
real about it.
AA, that's why I never went back to a second AA meeting,
Yeah,
because
they're judgy too.
a lot of
Really?
people would be like, at least it wasn't drugs, and that attitude just, I almost walked out.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I did drugs too. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
I mean, it's interesting to see that dynamic because they're both
it is.
addictions, but one is like holier than thou about it. And wow, that's
Yeah, and if you're walking around in your disease, but you don't have a problem because it's legal,
right,
there's no incentive to change or have compassion for anybody.
right, right.
Ironic, alcohol is a drug, and then Mish says a drug is a drug is a drug. Pharmaceutical
Drug
drug.
is a drug is a drug. Pharmaceutical, alcohol,
If
illegal, legal,
if
gas, paint, food. Yeah,
if alcohol was invented today, it would be a class 2 narcotic and would be
yeah,
illegal.
yeah.
Um,
Glad you have, Anik.
yes, yes, yes. Um, uh,
He's on night full of hope.
yes, I was trying to kind of keep up. Yes, full of hope. Good night. I hope your jammies are comfy.
I can tell I can tell you that one of my wife's triggers was a
Mhm.
brown paper bag.
Oh,
Really? Wow. Just because that's what they put the bottles in?
some people drink with their brown paper bag around their their booze of
Somehow that's
choice.
hiding it.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but that's what they put it in when you buy it and bring it home too. They don't, unless you go
yeah.
to
They don't just let you
Walmart.
walk out with a bottle. Yeah.
Oh, I
If you're
see.
buying liquor, you're bringing home a brown bag.
Oh, well, then I can understand why that would be triggering. I can understand that. And I agree. A drug is a drug is a drug. And it's, if you have if you have an addiction, it doesn't matter what it is, food, anything like that.
Same here,
That's what
Christy.
I'm learning.
I knew a guy when I was in rehab that he was addicted to the stuff that you spray on your keyboard to clean it. He would inhale that.
Woo-wee.
Really?
You really?
Oh, wow.
You
It's
said
all
basically anything you can inhale.
trying to take our bodies back to our God-given state that is taken from us at birth, with the first little prick administered by the nurse. Huh. That is interesting perspective. Right on.
I'm having technical difficulties over here. Hold on.
That's why I think there's a lot of. Yes, my daughter watched her neighbor die from that, Steve. Yeah,
Oh wow.
I,
Mm.
I apparently it's a lot more prevalent than I thought,
Yeah.
From
Yikes.
and it's
from
all poison. Absolutely. I mean, I poisoned my heart for 25 plus years, and now I'm paying for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the
that,
thing here in Australia. They use little canisters and make broth.
Interesting.
Wow.
my goodness.
Interesting.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
guess
See,
we're all learning something today.
yes. Well, I mean, I definitely am over here. That's for sure. Um, so one of the things that
Hey,
Carolyn and I kind of
yeah,
talked about was how do you guys, now that you're on the other side of your addiction, how do you handle working through the emotions of the relapse or the difficult emotions that you have right now? Like how do you guys, do you have any tools that you use to do that?
Well, of course, mine used to be,
Guys, my
you
heart's
know,
getting jumpy, so I'm taking a metoprolol. It's not a drug. It is a drug, but it's for my heart.
I mean, my go-to for everything was my religion,
Mm-hmm.
my extreme religion, and so I just completely just dove headfirst in and barely ever came up for air, you know. So that's how I used to do it. Now I'm having to learn how to really do it,
Right, right. And are you
Uh,
finding it more difficult to learn it now without um
Yeah, because now I'm feeling stupid
um
because I got to go back and learn this stuff that I should have been learning early on in
mhm,
my recovery.
mhm, mhm.
And yeah, so
we
I'm
have whip.
kind of
Oh,
in a weird nebulous place where I could really get down on myself
Yeah, if you
that
thought
was a
about it.
great
if I
word, by the
chose
way.
to go down that road, which would be very easy to do.
Right,
Uh,
right.
nitrous oxide. We have whippets here too.
Wow.
I they seem to have become a lot more unpopular as there's cheaper, more stronger drugs.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah, we call them whippets.
yeah. When we went to Romania it was a mission trip with when I was in that church, that was that last church that I was in, and we were ministering to street kids, trying to see if we could help them kind of want to be off the streets.
Right.
It was so sad because some kids that would be 14, 15, 16 looked like they were 11, 12. And then once they got to a certain age of over 16, they looked like little old people from doing that stuff.
Oh, really?
They had this
Wow.
awful stuff in a silver bottle that had silver contents. Maybe even mercury was in it. It kind of
Ooh,
seemed like that could have been, yeah, it was terrible.
Well, I'm actually 19.
you're actually 19.
All right.
No,
Well, then.
uh,
uh,
but you know,
Honesty. You're absolutely right. That's it. Acknowledgement, honesty, and knowledge. Getting some tools in your belt.
mhm, mhm.
honesty.
I mean, I still am having to negotiate with myself about, you know, whether or not to relapse.
Yes, I remember. I was
I still wrestle with that. I still do.
Mhm.
Because I feel like I need to. Sometimes I feel like I need to start recovery over from a fresh coat of paint, so to speak.
Right, right. Okay.
It makes no sense. It's just an addict talking here.
yeah, no, it makes perfect sense.
I mean, it does, because if you feel like forced into it or it wasn't your choice or something like that, I mean, I can see where you would think, okay, let's just start the process over from the very beginning. I mean,
Yeah,
like in a oddly logical way that makes a lot of sense. So, again,
yeah.
not encouraging you to do anything one way or the other, please be healthy, but like I can see where you stay with that.
I think that cruming about the kids in Romania. Yeah, maybe so. Because the contents did have a chrome metallic. It was nasty smelling. It was scary looking.
Maybe it was paint because silver and gold are the colors that huffers huff. From what I'm told.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look into very closely what the actual substance was. I could
Right.
have, but just didn't.
What
Now I
made you guys
kind of wish
choose
I would have,
Romania?
you know.
What made you choose Romania?
That's just some friends of mine had gone several times, even before they
Okay.
joined the church that I was in, and So they took a group of people with them one of the times, and I was in that group.
Mm. Awakened said, comparing my life before, during, after, when were the best times, worst times? How hard was it to get away from, just to get back to normal? How much did I hate my addiction?
Oh, I hate my own now.
Best times, worst times. How hard is it to get away from
Look at
just?
that. Look at what Christy says. They won't sell spray paint to people under 18 in Australia.
They won't do it here, and they won't sell super glue to you either.
Yeah,
No, they don't won't do it here either.
No.
that's yeah.
Or super glue or anything like that. Yeah. They won't. Wow.
Yes, Anik. Yeah, and you would watch them huff the stuff, and watch their faces just crumple into this horrific, hideous, twisted. I mean, it was kind of traumatic watching their faces after they would huff that stuff.
Have you seen the videos of the Kensington Street part of Philadelphia where they're just walking zombies?
No, but I've heard about them.
It is heartbreaking to watch, and it's because they're mixing that drug
Heartbreaking.
xylazine with the heroin.
Yeah,
And what's the other one?
of course it can be fatal. Yes.
It takes enough. Take a penny and you look at Abraham Lincoln's beard. That's the amount of what's the new one?
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl. That's the amount of fentanyl that can kill you. Is Abraham's beard.
It's a mom trying to buy for her kids, the person behind the counter making their judgments about whether or not you are worthy. Yeah, we have got to do something to change the general society at large's outlook on people that are suffering in that. Somehow we've got to make it known that is never going to be helpful. It's never going to cure anything. It's going to be more detrimental, really. It's just not helpful.
Right.
Your judging is not going to help.
No, and I think
You're
that's a
not qualified to
generational thing.
judge because you ain't there.
There's people still alive that didn't. These drugs didn't exist when they were younger. Therefore, they're judgmental because of those who use it. And I think, I think as time goes by, and we become the older generation, I think the stigma will change.
Yeah.
I hope I get old enough to.
I did an interview on the live.
And I watched it.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
It was, I was sitting there just holding you in my heart that whole time. I watched it on both the Lifeboat and AML.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's AML?
It's a channel.
Okay.
Why would you put a penny under your
What
tongue?
would that do? What would that do?
Yeah. That's interesting. Shaming does not do
helpful.
anything. No.
If anything, it just pushes people further into their isolation. Because that's ultimately where addiction lands you is in isolation.
Right.
Because even though you don't want to face it, there's always that thing dogging you that that you're not, you're not functioning like normal society. Yeah, it's like you have this big secret, and it's big.
Wow.
Is going in deep production today.
Okay.
Oh, are they doing
now, Misha?
I hadn't heard about it.
movie of your life, or a
The
movie?
daughter.
Oh, the daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Wow.
there's lithium in components similar, I guess, to the meth, which
Oh, wow.
curbs the cravings apparently.
Oh, Misha, the question was, is the movie going to be on AML, or is it going to be on where can we see it, in other words? Yes. Oh, yes, about Chris.
Mhm. Both.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Both Cosmic Christie.
I can
Okay.
tell that's going to be hard to watch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But so important,
Oh, yeah.
because it's all part of that thing of taking the stigma away,
Mm-hmm.
which has never been helpful, will never be helpful, and
No,
will not get will not change the situation, which is deadly now, and we've got to change it.
Well, yeah, and I think at some point, and again, this is coming from, at what point do you stop judging people and trying to just save the children? Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, when I was younger, we had Nancy Reagan, just say no and all of that. That didn't work.
Nope.
So when do you just say, okay, you know what? We need to save our children, and whatever we have to do to save our children and those who are in active addiction. Like, I don't understand that. And I know this is controversial, but I am all for needle exchange programs. I am all for
100%.
any of that stuff,
100%.
because
Yes.
I remember when we lived in Seattle, and it was really prevalent in Washington State, unfortunately. But
I'm sorry, Misha. That sucks. Yeah, changing it how? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, they they didn't have that, and there were certain parks that you couldn't even walk in because there were needles everywhere.
Yeah.
And like, that's just,
if
I
you're
don't understand.
if you're to the point where you're at a needle
That's right.
vending machine,
Sorry,
Right.
Steve, go
yeah,
ahead.
if you're at the point, I agree with that. Nobody says I want to become a drug
That's it.
addict. If you're at a point where you're at a needle vending machines that dispenses clean needles, shaming, and you're way past that. You need hardcore recovery.
But there's got to be a bridge somewhere where they can reach in,
Yeah, right.
and the judgment and the ostracizing and the looking down on people is not building that bridge.
No, but
That
I've
love
seen.
and that acceptance is what got my attention when I
Yeah.
just before I went to San Diego, and
Carol,
yeah.
why don't you drop the link? Misha said I need to come on and just talk about it. I think too much just
Yes. Okay. Here we go.
that is a huge
Yeah.
step of going to a place like that. So brave. Yeah.
Okay. Here we
Yeah.
go. And Misha, just click on this link. And I'll let you in. I'll toggle you in here.
Yeah, there does need to be a bridge between those that want help and those that can give it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. It is saying I want to live.
Mm-hmm. And the humanitarian part of me just doesn't understand how or why someone would be so hateful to someone who is sick.
That's
Like,
right. You
what?
wouldn't treat a cancer patient like
No,
that.
no.
You wouldn't treat a
And
little kid with leukemia like that. And it's a sickness. It
yeah.
you know, whether it's a disease or whatever, there is really no getting away from it. Is a sickness.
And
Right.
that's why I don't believe
You are sick.
Right.
You have a sickness that you have fallen victim to.
Mm-hmm.
that's why I don't believe one's an alcoholic, always an alcoholic, because if you cure someone of cancer, they're cancer free. Why can't you be alcohol free?
Well, I don't know.
I
You
mean,
know,
that's
and
no,
the
I was a
curing cancer is, there is always the danger of relapse.
right. Well, so is there with alcohol, but they say I'm a cancer survivor or I'm cancer free, but you don't hear the term I'm an
Maybe that's
alcohol
what we
survivor.
need to start saying. I'm an alcohol survivor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a drug survivor.
we started it right here.
Yeah.
Let's make it a thing.
There you go.
I'm going to post the link again. Yeah, just click on this link, Misha, and it should take you to Restream, and then I'll see you get you in here.
Oh, Lifer! Hey, glad you're lurking.
Nice.
Good you're here.
Thank you. Good
Awesome.
to see you. So glad to see you. Thank
Yes.
you for being here.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that you were able to catch, but we've been in a discussion about, this last part we've been talking about is just the judginess against people who are in addiction. And hello to the lifeboat. Yes.
Is it Tommy or Johnny?
Well, hey to both.
Which
They're
one?
like sitting in a room together. So, but
Eating stuff that kill somebody.
it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I just don't I fail to understand why we wouldn't try to save everybody that we can. It's
By whatever means necessary.
yeah.
We don't have to dictate those terms.
Right.
At some point we have to empower the addict.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know that there is a power that they can grab a hold of.
Mm-hmm.
They said they heard most of what we said, and it's both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And it's my daughter is going to school to be a pharmacologist. She started off going to be a doctor, changed her mind, really like the pharmacology side of things. And she said, she's funny because she doesn't like big pharma at all. She's, but she's like, we need to help people. She even told me, she's like, Mom, get some Narcan, start carrying it in your purse.
Yeah, right on.
And I do. I
like addiction survivor too.
We need to make a shirt, let's make a
Yeah.
shirt. Addiction
Oh
survivor.
gosh.
Love that. Hello, Misha. Welcome.
Hi guys, is it working?
Yeah, well, I can hear you, but I can't see you yet.
We can't see
I have
you
a
yet
little
either.
camera. There's a little circle with a camera.
No, you don't need to see me anyways. It's just a bunch of yuck.
Well, we're happy that you're here. So
Thank you. Me too.
No, audio mission today.
Audio. That's what I was going to say. Is the audio like reverbing or anything? Is it?
So far, so good.
Okay, cool.
By the way, Misha, I'm Steve Molesky on the lifeboat.
Steve, it is so fabulous to actually meet you. Hand quotes. I adore you. I fell in love with you guys. I fell in love with all y'all.
Me
We
too.
love you. I love you, Misha, big time. I'm always so happy when you're here.
yes.
You guys make me, whenever things get really hard, I go back and I just watch it. I watch it all.
Aw.
Right
I
on.
do the boat, and now the needing a meeting is just it's done a lot for me.
I'm looking forward to the time change because I'm hoping that I'll be able to get back on the lifeboat because I have to be now with the sun setting with the time that it is. I have to go straight from here to the barn, and then I don't get back until after 8 o'clock my time, which is
Right.
It starts at 7 my time. The lifeboat.
Yeah, me too. We're on the same time zone.
So I got to figure out how I'm doing this time wise when the time changes because I want to be able to do this and get back on the lifeboat.
Well, if you got to change the time, I'm sure it's not going to bunch too many people up.
I think we will follow you anywhere, just like the boat.
Well, thank
That's right.
you.
That's right.
We just make it work. I mean, there's times that I can make it, times that I can't.
Yeah.
Just what, like with the boat, you know, it's,
Yeah.
and a lot of times I can make it, I just don't feel like it. And so I think that's the good thing about these things is we have the opportunity to not be
I have
forced to put a mask on. We can
I
just
have a
come on.
tuna wrap right here that I have.
Through.
We make it work, and proof of that is she gave me a tuna wrap at 5:35, and I haven't eaten it yet.
Well,
I love it.
and you know, the great thing is you can go back and watch episodes that really resonated, or go back and be like, hey, at that time that didn't really speak to me, but it's something that I need to kind of explore
I think
now.
this is one of the, if this is one of the most powerful ones I've been involved with
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
because of
Thank you for
because
that,
of-
Christy.
yeah.
Hey, I fell for Carol whenever she was
Much.
doing the song, the challenge to figure
Oh,
out.
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm hers.
Thank you. Yeah, that didn't work out so good. That's
You know,
okay.
it's just there wasn't enough people that got to see it.
I
But
tried
you
it.
guys doing
Didn't
it,
work. Next.
No, I want to do something like that once I get everything back. Because when I didn't have internet, I messed up so many settings on my computer. It's pathetic. It's really pitiful because I was trying to find a way to, you know.
No, absolutely.
But there's a lot of games and stuff that I found that we can do on like the lives that can keep it going and flowing for people that don't want to really involve in the chat or whatever. They can still be doing the games, and I think that would be something that would keep it dynamic.
I would love that.
And
Yeah.
I loved it. Just watching you and Steve doing the whole like the jazz hands. I was like, yes, she is awesome.
Maybe I'll still make that my outro. I don't know. I hadn't decided yet. I don't have an intro or an outro yet. So
Well, the offer on the thumbnail still stands. You just need to tell me
thank
what you want or what you need.
I would.
and I will.
Yeah, thank you, and we'll work something out on that. Because I need to do better with the thumbnails. I just
You're
find
doing pretty good. I mean, it's one of those things. You're getting busy with this. It's actually going, and so
Right.
you don't. Who wants to take out time to do the thumbnails? When I love the art, and so I'm doing it whether I'm doing a thumbnail or not.
there's,
Like my
there's,
mental
a,
health there.
there's a point where you can do this part-time or you can do it full-time, and then
Right.
but there's I mean, I don't know what if you Carol considers herself a part-timer or a full-timer, but I mean, it's like with Tommy, it's full-time.
Yeah.
Well, that's
for
just what I was
real.
fixing to say. Tommy, is that Tommy? Do I see him in here?
Yes, Tommy and Johnny both.
Yep, they're
Oh,
learning.
guy.
Or they were here. Hopefully, I don't know. If they
Yeah, I think there's.
But
I
anyway,
haven't done it.
I want to hear about this, about the movie,
Mhm.
Miss Jo.
Well, that's what I was
Yeah.
hoping I would be able to do on this, because
Christy.
if I have it set up right, I can actually do my screen share and show. And it's really, it's. I'm so torn. Anyways, I was torn at the beginning, but it was like pretty early on that he talked to me about it, and he was.
Okay.
I knew him. I had spoken to him before. In fact, the night whenever I found everything out, I went on his and a few other people that I knew that knew Christina, and I went on their pages and just cussed them out. I
Yeah.
said, y'all are going to pay for it. I didn't know what really was going on yet. I just knew that they told me that it was suicide, which the report came back that there was no gun or no bullet found. So, which, I mean, I knew in my heart anyways, like that moment whenever he told me, I said, who did it? And he says, what do you mean who did it? I don't remember if I remembered this incorrectly or what, but it seems to me like he said that she put the gun to herself, which that's what I remember, you know.
Yeah.
But I knew for a fact that wasn't it. I knew my daughter, you know,
Yeah.
even though the things that she was doing were nightmarish, to say the least.
Yeah.
She didn't hide anything from me. We still
Right.
talked everything.
Good. Yeah.
And so I knew that she didn't. And so I went on to everybody's pages I could find. I'm just like, y'all are going to pay. You're going to see my face. You're going to see her face. Every time you close your eyes, you're going to see us.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so then the next morning he got up and saw it, and he's like, what is going on? And so I had to tell him. And then not much later after that, he was like, we had been working on something already.
What did that mean?
Christina, because she wanted to help people know what it was like, that life. She wanted
Right.
people to see her, and she wanted to help people like her.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Hopefully she still can, Misha.
She is. Every time that
We're gonna
I say
figure out a
something,
way to make that happen.
every
We
time
are.
I say something, I think her story tells. I
That's
really
right.
do. And that's the only way that I'm able to deal with this, is to know that her testimony is said. In that, I try to take myself out of it because it's hard, because it's like commercializing her story sometimes by doing it was going to be a documentary. And so you go from telling her story to having to think media wise, and that's hard because
That
she's
is.
not, it's not commercializing her life.
It's got to be told, though.
It
Yeah, it
does.
does. And so that's where I
Yeah.
try to take myself out of the box on that.
Okay.
But it's gotten further and further away from what it is. Like I'll leave links in there. Here in a second, I'll try to figure out how to do that on here. But he's posted it today. He did the final synopsis of the movie, and it was supposed to be a documentary, and then it turned into a movie. I don't know how. And then the movie has now changed from not even talking about what happened. And I think that the very last moments of her life are so very important.
I can probably put the link up, Misha. I don't know. I don't know what it looks like on your end. I was trying to get Steve to do an experiment with me so I could see what he sees and what he has access to.
Well, I would like to actually do an experiment with somebody about it, because I have the
Okay.
OBS, and OBS does a lot of different stuff, and it's free.
When I come in
Okay.
on my laptop, I can't see
I don't know
I
what
can
that
see
is,
the
but I'm
chat, but I can't chat. I have no place to chat.
In OBS, you can. And you can screen share and stuff too, like I think you can on the StreamYard. But I'm just not familiar with StreamYard. I'm familiar with OBS. And
okay.
so I'd like to do it to where I can see if we can, whatever it is. I can't even think right now because my brain goes stupid. But
Co-host
like
or
collaborate. Yeah.
collaborate.
to where
Yeah.
Collaborate.
so it goes to different channels at the same time.
If you want to try to put something up right now, send me a link to needingameeting@gmail.com,
Okay.
and I
Well,
can open it and put it up.
I can do that part. Like we can do the testing and stuff after this.
Okay.
I'm trying to find the link for this though,
Okay.
because if nothing, I can just send it straight to your Facebook, if that'll work.
That'll work too. Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Cosmic, I do the same thing. I'm on my laptop and chat on my phone.
I should. I just it
Yeah.
doesn't ever
It
occur to me.
gives more views. And also, while they're doing that, don't forget to like and subscribe, share, comment, leave a comment afterwards. All of that.
I've got a
know,
blue
gets
screen.
everything.
I can't even see the like or subscribe or anything.
Yeah, because we're on StreamYard instead of on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be on
Restream is a
YouTube.
different. You're on Restream instead of
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Like I've got on Restream, I can do private chat and I can see the chat. But as far
Okay.
as
Yeah, we've got that too. Can you see private chat on this?
I can see it on StreamYard. But as far as like the chat, I can see it, but I can't interact.
Mhm.
Oh.
That's how
I can interact with.
Like at least not on my computer, which I can't.
Yeah.
Cell phones
That's
are hard
weird.
for me. They're so constricting. I'm so claustrophobic with my cell phone. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. All
I can't
right.
see.
So I have my Gmail open and just.
Well, I sent it to your Facebook. I was just lazy and didn't get your
go
address.
there. Go there. Okay, I'll go there. Yeah, no worries.
Oh. So she can see me on private chat. I thought it was just the host.
I think all of us that are on
we should all be able to see the private chat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But we can interact, just not with the actual chat data.
Yeah, I can see the chat in the private chat.
Okay.
Mhm. I'm subbed on 2 accounts.
She's subbed
Somebody
on
says
2
it's
accounts.
time to get up.
I didn't even see Steve come in. Hey, Steve-O.
The 7th here.
Yes, Seven Son is
Yeah.
here. Hi, Seven
We've
Son.
got a lot of cool people here.
I love y'all. Y'all are
Yeah.
so awesome.
Thank you. We love you.
We're sitting at the cool kids table at the lunchroom.
Right? Hey, Steve, by the way, I really like you whole lots.
I'm sorry.
I really like you whole lots.
We really like you.
Thank
He
you.
said,
All
he
right,
told me
so
once,
I
he says,
think
because
I've
I said I
got
love
it.
y'all, and he says, well, Mish, I don't know you enough yet. He says, but I really like you a whole lot. So I'm like, yep, that's our
Oh,
thing.
that's right. I remember that now. Yeah, we just met, so I just kind of I like you a lot. I don't love you
Right?
yet. Yeah,
I like you whole lots.
I like you.
Okay,
Well,
so
I
I'm gonna
I
share
can
this
love you now.
page
I've heard your
here.
voice.
Huh?
I think I'm going to share this page here. Let's see.
Okay,
Let's
cool.
see if it's going to share. Is it there?
Looks kind of like
Yep.
something's happening.
Okay, so I'm going to make us. There we are. There it is. Okay, and that's who's
So-
doing the movie.
Yeah. And he's got it to where that it's got like these little, shorts kind of things. And
Okay.
one of them, it kills me. And I'm just going out there with it. I'm just throwing it all. I don't even care anymore. I'm so tired of holding this crap in.
Right on.
I mean, there's some stuff that I still obviously can't because, I got a lawyer and all that good stuff. But there's some stuff I'm just going to let it out because I'm
Okay.
bleh.
Right on.
He posted a thing and it's called Portrait.
He wants me to-
And
that one.
in that, it has an actress that looks very similar to Christina,
Really.
her mannerisms and everything.
Wow.
And he is a photographer. And the relationship that they had was he was a photographer and he was her friend. He met her on the streets,
I'm having trouble hearing Misha.
I
let
get
her,
excitable
let her
sometimes, I think.
continue. Let her continue, Steve, please. Go ahead.
I get excitable too sometimes, so I'll probably go in and out. But he is a photographer, and so that's how I know him. And so in this portraits video, he didn't tell me anything about it. And usually he's good about letting me know what's going on with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am a major supporter. I try to go in and support people that I think are important, like the Bo, like you, I try to, do my social part. And so I was doing that for him and I was watching this video and I still never watched the rest of it because it threw me so far. And you'll just, it's her being picked up and they're talking. And then all of a sudden there's this showing of his cameras. And then some horrible stuff happens.
Somehow the what happens?
Some
Horrible stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it just it threw
Wow.
me so far.
Wow, and he gave you no warning, huh?
No warning.
Oh my God.
And so he's probably going to watch this. And so I'm just, I should have mentioned it to him and that was really crappy of me not to. But
Well, what's crappier here?
it just, it's hard. It's one
Yeah.
of those things that I try to keep myself composed and I try to,
Yeah.
it's just, this is a very different kind of subject.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's taken it from being a documentary on going like what I was kind of like the AML, going on Kensington and doing the interviews and stuff and showing the reality
Yeah.
of homelessness and addiction,
Yeah.
which needs to be shown. It needs to be shown that these people, that was my daughter, she was the most beautiful soul. She was the good one of the bunch.
Yeah.
And because of the things that happened to her, which were, unimaginable, after everything happened, I found out some things that happened that made her go there that were just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And, the things that made her go there were not something that she just wanted to become a drug addict.
That's right.
She did not know. She didn't have. We only have us. It's just me and my daughters. We have no support, and we haven't for the entire time I've raised them. It's just been me and the girls.
Yeah.
And she was raised with a drug alcoholic father that was just a nightmare until I got smart enough to leave. And then she had for a mother someone who was either the early part of their lives in active addiction, and
Yeah.
then the later part of their lives was all just trying to live after being,
Yes.
being a
Which,
felon and being all those things.
yes.
And so when it comes to getting help from the state or help that, being anything that I needed, it was always, I was told I made too much money to get food stamps. My kids had to watch themselves from the age of 11 on because daycare said they were old enough to watch themselves. And I had to work 50, 60, 70 hours a week just to pay for everything.
Yeah.
So I missed out on being there like I needed to be because of that. And she had to deal with that. So did there too, and there was a lot. And
Yeah.
then after that, when they did get older, it's just, I want people to see her for who she was. Not that she was an addict, not that she was homeless or that she wasn't able to support herself. She didn't have that chance to begin with,
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
And then she thought people were helping her because naively we feel like there's not bad people in the world, even though I know there are.
Yeah.
So people that she thought she was helping or was helping her would end up taking all of her money, and she couldn't
Oh,
go and get a
yeah.
job because she didn't have an ID. They would steal her ID. Every 3 months she was like, I've got to get a new ID so I can get a job. Like that was a
Yeah.
mantra for our conversations.
Yeah.
And I went to this documentary to show how hard it is because people are like, oh, just get rid of them. It's just nature taking care of itself.
Oh,
And it kills me when they say that because one
unacceptable.
circumstance, one
That is
circumstance,
brutal.
yeah, one circumstance
Unacceptable.
could have changed, and that person that's looking down on them could have been the
That's
person
right.
that's looking down on.
Mhm.
And that is such a hard thing. You can't take baths. You have to look for, like, when we were homeless, we had to go to the lake. And thank God we were able to go to the lake because that's where we would take our showers, and be able to do the things that we needed to do. But even then, at the end, they got to where we couldn't do that because there were so many, you had to get the parking ticket or parking permits and all these different things. And, they really were crushing down on us in Oklahoma. And thank God we had a vehicle at the time.
Yeah.
But, there's so many things that you don't have an address, so you can't get your mail or put anything down. You don't always have a phone for your employer to call you. And when you do have everything lined up and you finally get an employer to get a hold of you, getting to that job,
Yeah.
there's just so many things in the way.
So
And it is so much
many.
harder.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
one day living homeless is harder than I used to have. I was management in 2 different stores at one point, and it was harder for me one day being homeless than it was working all those stores, all those jobs. I had 16 stores one time.
Yeah.
All of that was so much easier, and I would have given so much to go back to that than to have been homeless for one day.
It is a very tough existence. I remember we had to pay quarters to take showers. At one place we were at, one time I paid $15 to take a shower at a truck stop.
Yeah, and those are horrible.
That's,
Oh, the people that are there. Ugh.
well, and being a tiny little petite woman walking back through the truckers
Yep.
lounge, it's you
Yeah, you get
it's
hit
not
up on.
always good. Yeah, or at least looked at.
Mhm.
And it is, you're right. It is a very tough life. And there's just so many things that it sounds like are just really working against you.
Big
I mean,
time.
between,
Big time.
not, making too much to qualify for this, but it's still not enough. And, the one thing I never understood was, homelessness, help those people get the resources that they need. Because we've been there, where we didn't have a permanent address or we didn't have this and we had to prove that.
There's so
It's
much red
really
tape, and you're going in and you're trying with a piece of crap phone that, even though you got Wi-Fi from Walmart or wherever, you're trying so hard
right,
to get on there to find these resources, but your phone sucks. And by the time you finally get there, then something kicks you off. And so then it's like you're spending 5 hours doing this, but
right.
get nothing. And then you finally get to that resource and it's a deadline.
Yeah.
Or people
Yeah.
say, there's so much help out there for you. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm not homeless now, but I'm dealing with a lot, and I'm trying to find resources not only for myself, but for so many others, because that's what I want to do,
Right.
is
Mhm.
be a resource haven for people. And I'm trying to
Yes.
find these resources. And like for the victims compensation line,
Yeah.
I have to go through Louisiana because that's where it happened. But
Yeah.
I'm in Oklahoma, And so whenever I go to the government website, this is just a great example. I go to the government website and I click on the link for Louisiana, and it's a deadline. And that's a pretty big,
What's the website?
for the
For victims for help for the victims and their families. There's
let me see
supposed
if
to
I
be
can,
compensation.
yeah. Well, and not only that, but just crap, I had it. Not only that, but just for the resources for like the counseling and things like that. There
Right.
should be all this stuff that would be there to help. And I've never even heard
It's
back from the
supposed to be.
detectives for homicide.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
never have heard back from them. And that in
Oh.
itself is just a spit in the face, because, you know, it took the full 3 months that they allot for the autopsy to come back on her. Okay. Like I said, no bullet, no gun found. And they had closed her case as suicide. But then this other girl, who, by the way, was the witness to Christina's case, was found on the 3rd of July, beaten to death by the same man.
What the
They
hell?
had the autopsy back, and he was arrested July 5th.
Oh my gosh.
Is he still in jail?
Yes, but I can't find anything on him, because their Vine system, which is victims, you're able to get on Vine and it tells you if anything happens with that person, they'll
Yeah.
inform you. Nope. For some reason, it just won't let me in that area because I have to pay.
Oh.
Which we had to pay for the police reports, and I have very limited funds. Paid for it, waited for it to get there, and my oldest daughter, had come down, had a very horrible day herself, and came because she needed her mama, and she came to me, and we decided to go to the cemetery that day that came in. And I was like, well, I was waiting to read this, but, you know, since you're here, let's do it. And so before we went to the cemetery, we read it, and there was absolutely nothing on it at all but one line that had something redacted, which was this girl that they had found. Her name was redacted, but it said, you know, her particulars, whatever. There was nothing informative at all. And we spent, like, I had to wait for weeks to come up with the $20 just to buy it, you know. And so there's that kind of a hurdle too. And that's one of the things that I want to do. And I'm going to be all over the place with this. I know I hear myself jumping different directions.
That's all right.
You're fine.
That's all right.
It's a train of thought. Yeah.
You know, we need to be able to not have so many hindrances for us as the people who have gone through these situations, as the persons that put us through them.
Yeah.
Have so many rights, so many laws protecting them.
I mean, the criminals have rights.
Yes.
You know?
I'm a criminal too. You know, I'm glad. Hey, yeah, good for us to have those rights. But they need to have something in place for everyone, not just the people that have the money to do it. Because, you know, I would have been a bigger criminal if I would have had things in place like I needed.
Right.
He might, the man who did this might not have been in such a situation to where he would have done it, where life's hurdles not been so bad. You know, I'm just saying there's so many things at play for all of us. And
It's
it needs
supposed to be free
something.
under the Freedom of Information Act.
Well, that's a whole nother goose. That's a whole nother goose.
That is a can of worms.
Yeah. You can do anything you need to if you have an attorney that will actually work for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've spent hours upon hours, and I am a researcher at heart. I've done research as a hobby for over 25 years.
Right.
You know, I know a lot of the ins, and I'm pretty good at that kind of thing. And even I get so lost on these rabbit holes that they send you on. It's ungodly. I'll send it to for the link for the victims compensation.
Okay.
And resource line. I'm going to send it to your Facebook.
Okay.
Focus, Misha. Focus.
Cosmic Christie was asking if you have a PayPal account.
I do. That's not what I'm going for, though.
I understand, but if somebody wants to help,
Absolutely.
let them help. Please, let us help you.
Yeah, because that's not what I was coming on here for, y'all.
I know that. And I would never in a million years suggest that that's why you came on here. We want to help. in any way we can. You know what? I know that listening is good, but
Yeah,
we
that's
need
what
resources. You need resources. You do. You
And
need
blessings come in all different shapes and sizes.
y'all are all different
Yeah,
shapes and sizes, and y'all are blessings, and we are. So yeah, I agree with that 100%.
All right. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay. Now I've got this.
Uh,
This should go
I've got
up
the
here.
government directory.
Okay. All right.
Um, and whenever you pull it up, you can pull up. I just sent you the like main one.
Okay.
I gotta
Um,
stop this. Ugh.
is there
Yeah,
a?
anyway, Christy said she was the one that asked. It wasn't.
Yeah. It
She,
was. Yeah.
she's trying to take the onus off of Misha.
I appreciate it. I really do, and I do.
If you want to send it to me, I can send it to her. And all we need is the email address to send stuff to. There's a friends and family option there, and they don't take as much in the way of
Yeah,
fees.
PayPal.
And
They're
mhm.
evil, but they're the ones that I use too. Because I mean, I have an online where I sell stuff. That's what I was
Yeah.
wanting to do, was do a like an auction kind of thing this weekend.
Okay.
But I have problems with my mental. Blah. That's a
Yeah.
whole nother thing. Okay, so sorry, y'all. I get like
no.
overwhelmed with.
You're allowed.
Is there something in particular you want me to click on here?
Yeah. If you want to do that, let's see. It's a. I can't see it. It's too little. Pull it big. But if you just type in like in the search and type in victims,
Okay.
and
Type it.
then
Okay.
go to states, and also, I mean, if you look in Oklahoma as far as resources, and then you compare that to like so many other states, there is nothing like our government. I love Oklahoma, but as far as like the aid that we got from the federal, hardly nothing.
Right.
So, but anyways, sidetrack. If you go to the victims and then go to the state, and you can type in Oklahoma, it'll take you to Oklahoma's links.
Okay.
And then you do the same thing for Louisiana and click on it, and it'll be a dead link.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just do that now then. And for some reason, on the type of victimization, it doesn't have homicide or murder. Why?
There is in a difference. Let me see. I'm having to pull it back up and close it back down because I can't see. I'm so blind.
Okay.
If you scroll down,
Yeah.
I think that they have it, and you can type it in the search as well.
Okay.
But it's all bulked into the victim's compensation, I think.
Okay. All right.
And
OBC.
it's ironic that it's OVC because the documentary is called Our Voices Cry.
I'm typing in murder victim compensation. Is that right? State crime victim compensation and assistance grant programs. Is
I
that
don't know
right?
if it's a grant program though. I think it's just the victims' compensation. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me see.
Office of Victims of Crime. Does that
Yeah.
sound familiar?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. And there. And one
I need to
now
just
that
share my
can
screen. I wish I could do that.
okay, so I've got a few options here. Victims of crime may contact the Victim Compensation Program. Let's see if I can get that to come up. Help in your state. Is that what we were going for?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to go to Oklahoma or Louisiana first?
Go to Oklahoma first just to show that it works.
Okay. All righty. Okay, Victim Assistance Program, Oklahoma District Attorney Council. Can you see what I have up on the screen right now?
I'm trying. I'm pulling it back up. One moment, please. We are having technical difficulties. Okay, is that like Oklahoma's? I
Yeah.
just see a notice. Okay, but it took you to it to where you can see the different resources they have, like on the top part of the links.
Yeah, the first two things are Victim Assistance Program, Victim Compensation Program, and both of those would fall under the Oklahoma District Attorney's Council.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you back out of that and then go back in the same way you did, but instead of Oklahoma, type in Louisiana.
Okay. There it is. Okay. Okay, help in your state, Louisiana, Victim Assistance Program, Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement and Administration of Criminal Justice.
Did it really pull it up?
Yeah, let's see what happens if I click on it. You are now leaving the Office of Justice Programs website. Office of Justice Program does not endorse the organization's views. What is this mess? What is this mess?
I'm so like left out right now in the cold with my being able to see because I can't see what you're seeing.
Well, I mean, when I tried to click on the link for the Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement,
Yes.
got this disclaimer thing coming up. You're leaving the website and what? Okay, crime victim assistance. The
That
Office
one.
for Victims of Crime of the U.S. Department of Justice's Office of Justice Programs, OJP, implements the victim assistance. So you're basically getting in a roundy round and it takes you back to the federal government. It
Well,
looks
see,
like.
whenever I clicked on it, it took me straight up to it was a dead link.
Well, what I did is I, instead of clicking on the link and leaving the page, like it was trying to show me that, oh, you're about to leave this site. I just did open in a new link, open in a new page, in other words.
Okay.
I just right clicked on the link and opened it in a different web page. And so it's taking me, it still says Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement and Administration of Criminal Justice. And it's got a bunch of different headings there. And then it's crime victim assistance. And it's talking about the DOJ and the OJP implements the Victim Assistance Formula Grant Program, Victim Assistance Program, CFDA number 15.575. Authorized by the Victims of Crime Act of 1984 as amended. So it's got a man named Lashina, or somebody named Lashina Gauthier, phone number 225-219-3328. I'm going to take a screenshot of this and send this to you.
Okay, cool. And I'll be better like knowing what's going on with it whenever I can be on my computer and do it because it's too little. And I've got a pretty big screen.
I'm also going to send you the link.
Yeah.
That came up.
Yeah, and when this is over, I'm going to go through and I'm going to find that link again. I'm going to show you because that's what I come up with, and it's just such a like kind of thing.
Yeah, like, anytime you get involved with the government, you go on a roundy round, I call it.
Yeah, and it's just, it's whenever you're freezing cold, and that's something too. The other day I was worried because, I'm like, man, it's getting so cold here, and I was worried about how it's going to suck this winter and stuff, and I'm like, all of a sudden I pictured Christina, and when they found her, she had 3 different layers of clothes on. And my God, how it had to have been. And I didn't even put myself in that. I took myself out as a mother with her when it came to things because it had been for so long, so much. And I couldn't do for her. like she needed, which
Yeah.
she didn't ever ask.
Oh.
She asked, out of like almost 9 years, asked for help from me twice, and it was for no more than $10 each time.
Oh.
You know, she was trying to do it all on her own.
Yeah. And you can't.
Yeah, there was times that she would go like cold and just ghost me for months, and I would go crazy, and I would go, you know, keyboard warrior and talk to all of her friends and say, you know what, I'm gonna go stupid if y'all don't have her get a hold of me, you know. And it had just become such a thing because literally from the time that I talked to her until whichever time I talked to her again, for those moments of talking to her on the phone, I was at least partially okay because I knew that she was okay. Other than that, I had every Law and Order episode, every scary TV show, movie, everything was on loop 24/7. In between those times. And, you know, they had found her one time and they said that it looked like they were filming for a movie because there was just so much everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know, they found her. The police had taken her to the lady who stepped in and was at least, you know, somebody that she could talk to or go to if she ever needed like a place to stay. And she was like her godmom. They took her there. And when she opened the door, Christina was just, I mean, horrible. We had to call the coroner's office at that time to find out any information before they had brought her another time. Sorry, that's a different time. But you have to call the coroner's office, even if they're not passed away. Just any kind of information like that. And that's in itself, calling the coroner's office as a mom.
Oh, wow.
But they had left her, they found her that time laying in the ditch, left for dead.
Mm.
You know, there was so much of that I kind of distanced myself and like depersonalized myself to all the stuff that she was going through, that now it's hitting me, and it's just like, God,
Oh, man.
as a mom, as a parent, if you're going through it,
Mm.
you know, if you're saying I can't do this, or it's just too much for me, or he's causing me problems, imagine being in this chair and realizing that you could have done something.
I can't imagine. Oh,
You know, I was waiting for her to hit rock bottom, and her rock bottoms were so ridiculously awful that they didn't affect her. Because
yeah.
there was just enough that she was able to make it through, and she's stubborn like her mama. And she did.
Oh. Yeah.
You know, there's parents that are going through this right now.
Mm.
And if I mean, I know it's good advice to tell people not to feel bad about it. You know, don't feel like it's your fault. But no, we need to realize our responsibility in this, and the fact that just because they're out there, just because they chose that, doesn't mean that we get to stop as a parent.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. You know,
Their action is already
good, bad, right, wrong, or in yeah. Yeah.
Chances are that there's something that we did. We may not be the only ones responsible, but there's something that we did that has got them there. And we can't fix that. We can't, you know, we can work towards it, but what we have to do is work on their here and now. And if they're in addiction, then we're in addiction too, even if we're not.
Yeah.
It is our
Yeah.
responsibility to do what we can. And I was, again, keyboard warrior. I was looking for resources for her all the time. You know, that's what she was coming home.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Through her, and she was.
Oh, that is torture. That is torture.
And
She
that's
was
what
so close.
the man told me. He said that's what got her gone. Because I talked to him.
Oh.
She had got herself clean.
Wow. Oh.
And so at any point as a parent, your main goal isn't necessarily getting them clean right then and there. It's to get them in a spot where you can work with them.
Yeah.
You know, always never close the door. Never close that door.
Right.
And even if it's
That's
harder
right.
for you, it's okay, because it's so much harder on this side.
Yeah.
If I could have brought my daughter home, you know, finding help to bring my daughter home was so ridiculous of a task, because if I would have done something to bring her home before,
And you were trying, and she was trying. You know, it was just a nasty human being that decided he needed to do what he did, and for what?
That's not
For
even
what?
human.
And if something would have been done, then this other girl would not have lost her
That's
life.
right. That's right. I'll
And there's
never
so much
understand.
more. There's so much more that I just want to scream. I kept the fact that it wasn't suicide for so long. It's not even funny, and that just to me, it's a disgrace to her and her memory. You know,
Yep.
her friends and family got tattoos, suicide awareness tattoos, and that's a lie. You know, that's a
Oh.
lie, and it's not anything because, however it happens, it's horrible. That's not what I'm upset about. I'm upset about the fact that we were supposed to keep quiet on all this crap.
Right. And what's that about?
Yeah, who am I
Now I
protecting?
really want to
Y'all are
know what
supposed to
that's
work
about.
for her. You know,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to work for her, but I'm protecting you. Why?
Why? Thank you. Yes.
We as society have just gotten so conditioned to following certain rules and doing certain things that it's to our own detriment, and we know it, and we're still doing it, and it just.
Mm. Yes.
Anyways, I'm just a blubbering blah 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 blah, blah right now.
Well, and you're allowed. You're allowed.
Yeah.
You are so allowed. No,
You have the floor.
I don't have any trouble with that at all.
Well, I really appreciate you guys. You know, I have hermited so much and ostracized myself so much that I pretty much, man, I used to be vocal. I used to have so much to say, and yesterday I posted something on Facebook about homelessness, and by the time I got to the end of it, I used to do that like on the daily, several times a day on the daily, get on my soapbox and say this or that, and it was a
You
struggle
will be
just
there again. You've just been knocked the most unimaginable blow and had that wind knocked out of you temporarily.
well, I'll never be the same.
No, you won't. You won't be the
It's a
same.
giant part of myself that's gone,
I know.
and
I'm
I
so sorry.
didn't pay it attention enough.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I just don't have any words. I mean,
The words that we need to have for this is we need to get out her the tragedy that was what she went through, and stop others from going through it. That's the words that we need to have. We need to scream for these people that cannot, and that's why our voices cry was so important to me, because it was getting out their voice. Because there's people that are doing the bend over trank stuff that they're people are calling them the zombies and stuff. Those people did not choose that, and yet they're choosing it every day to do it.
That's right.
They didn't choose that. Yeah, drug addicts. Yeah, but the drugs that we did when we were kids is so much different than this. That they're doing.
So different. It's
yeah.
I mean, it's an unrecognizable different playing field. It's
Getting off of it for us. The stuff that I did, it doesn't exist anymore. I mean, it's literally, there's nothing like what I did out there.
No.
So I'm safer than the average person, because it's just not, my kryptonite's not there, or else I probably would still be active with that. The stuff that they're doing now, I can only imagine the whole, because if it does the things that it does to you, and they know this, they see this, they're not blind to it.
No.
And yet they are still looking to continue to use this. That has to have such a hold that we as addicts, or any kind of anything that we had done in the past, we are survivors because we made it out of this. Yes, we are. Don't get that taken away. But that stuff that we did,
Doesn't hold a candle.
not at all. And I've never done that. I can just only imagine, because the power that it takes for somebody to take that, knowing what all the consequences are.
Ooh,
How can we blame these people?
what? Yeah.
And yet, people that go to get help, if to go to rehab, they have to go to a hospital first and get cleared. They have to get their wounds cleaned. They have to get all this. And I remember a time whenever I was done, I was ready to be over it. And I went to a rehab and they told me that I had to have 48 hours clean before I could go. And I'm like, do you not understand what a rehab is all about?
Right.
I can't get 48 hours clean or I would do this on my own.
Thank
know?
you.
And so that gave me another year's worth of use because that was my excuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And how
It
many
is-
people in that same situation?
Yeah. And not having anybody, you know, and sometimes people will get their feelings hurt because, you know, if somebody says, I don't have anybody, and yet you're looking right at them saying, what am I? You know, lunch meat? Whenever we say that, we're not saying anything bad towards that person that loves us enough to want to help us. We're
Yeah.
saying that because we don't have anybody that has been in our shoes that understands
Yeah.
what we're going through enough to where that we can feel comfortable with ourselves to let you in.
Yeah.
We don't want you to be tainted by our problems. We don't want you to look at us like we're horrible non-human beings. We just want you to look at us and be there for us and not tell us what to do or how to do it, but just let us find it together.
That's right. That's right. That's it.
And rehab and all these resources and all these solutions, what I was getting at with that is, yeah, they say that there's all there, but finding it and getting it and making it work. The few people that actually are lucky and blessed enough to get that,
Yeah.
they're the success stories, but they're also not possible in our world. And I say "are" because whether I'm active or not, I am in this world, and I will be till the day I die. Because at almost 18 years old, I started my first drug, and I have lived my life since a total different person.
Yeah.
And that is dealing with addiction whenever I am completely clean. 14 years at one point, I had every single day of that
Yeah.
struggle, and thank God I had things that kept me going enough to not be able to go back, because you have to analyze that. How bad was my worst moment in that? How badly did I want to quit? How hard was it for me to quit?
Yeah.
Just to get back to this where it's nothing but everywhere I go, everywhere I turn. And then I've got these people looking down at me whenever I am 3 months clean. I am working at McDonald's. I'm going to college. I'm raising my 3 children. I am.
Yeah. What the hell is that mess? What is that?
And these people at McDonald's are looking down at me. Don't you know any better? Well, you know what? I do. Especially now, I probably know a lot better than you do.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that experience. How
Yeah.
crazy is that? I am grateful. Thank you, God, for putting me in a position to go through those things, to realize the things that I went through, and to learn and to have the love that has come from that. Thank you, God, for that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I would be one of these people that is just looking down at other people thinking, I am so much better because I was born in this way. You know?
Mhm.
Thank you, God, for letting me not be that person.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's so profound and beautiful that, you know, through everything, you are able to see and thank God and not be that person. I mean, that must take a lot, really. You know, when someone has treated you so horribly and you've been looked down upon and you've been cast aside, to be able to stand up and square your shoulders and face the
Yeah.
world and say, you know what? Yep, but I will not be like you. And I think that takes
Yeah.
an amazing amount of courage and grit
And
to do, because not everyone can do
in
that.
our
me wrong.
society, for some reason, it's always up to the victim to bear the onus and do the right thing.
You know,
Right.
and that's true in so many ways. Don't get me wrong. I have actually been so horrible. I have been so rude and so wrong and so vicious and so ugly. Ugh, and it feels so good whenever I'm there, which is terrible. But also, that just puts me right there in that same spot. And so then I go into my hermit shell and just avoid the world. That's not an option either. What you said, Steve, about the survivor, I for so long had made it for. I had went through so much, and I made it. I was one of the lucky ones. I'd made it. I was living my life. I was doing good. But at the same time, I had blocked out everything that I had survived from. I didn't think of myself as a survivor. I just thought of myself as a warrior.
Yeah.
And when I was filling out yeah, I mean, but that's good and bad, because as filling out recently a survey for some of the crime stuff that was, during that whole time, it asked me to fill out this questionnaire, and it was anonymous. And so I was like, you know what? Heck with it. I'm doing it. And I started filling it out. And as I did, all these memories that I had blocked for all those years, because I could not, it was like Scarlett O'Hara, I'll deal with that tomorrow, kind of thing, because I didn't have time. I didn't have time to mourn the loss of my mother. I didn't have time to mourn the loss of myself. I didn't have time to mourn the loss of what my children's lives could have been, or my marriage, or my failed marriage, or my any of that. I just could deal with my day to day, and that was great for so long because I made it.
Yeah.
But it piled up and piled up and piled up until I felt like Atlas and had the world on my shoulders and literally could not move.
Yeah.
And you've got to address that stuff. You've got to take each one of those things and look at them for what they are, and then you need to dust them off and put them on your shelf. And you need to decide which part of your shelf, which area, which room that shelf is going to be that has those problems, instead of carrying them all on your shoulders every day. Because then it gets to the point where even just getting up and going to get a glass of water for my husband, sometimes I'm like, well, why am I doing this? Because I love him. And it just gets to the point that that's hard, because you've got all that other stuff on your back that nobody sees, nobody knows. You've got to take that down. And when I came to the realization, some of the things that I had went through and that I had just put on my shoulders and left, wow. And I know that every single one of y'all are that way too. We all have so much that we need to take off of our shoulders.
For the first time, I'd rather be me than somebody else.
Thank God you are.
With my heart and everything going on. I just there aren't, like Christy said, there aren't any words to for us to be empathetic. We people that hear this story, I mean, just can't come up with something adequate to say to make you understand how they feel about it.
That's something too. It's really hard because, whenever everything happened, I was getting the I'm sorries and I hated it because, I kind of reanalyzed whenever I told people I was sorry. I don't say it as much now. And I know it looks like I'm probably being cold-hearted. It's not that. It's that there really aren't words.
There aren't.
Actions. And that's what I'm asking for. I'm just asking for people to be a little bit more open to other people. We are not what we show on the surface. There's so much more going on.
That's
right.
And every single one of us have it. And instead of looking down, instead of doing this or that, or, fawning, or just me, how can I make the world better?
Yeah.
That is what we all need to look at. Every single person, every single one of us.
Yeah. And
we got so complacent in letting the world and letting the government take care of us that look at the situation that we're in. And if we would have just been open to saying we are all humans, let's work together, then we might actually be in a lot better position right now. I haven't been watching the comments. They're actually blank for right now. I don't know why.
Oh, you're getting a lot of love.
No, thank you guys. Thank you. I really just come on here too. I was like, blah, 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 because I've started videos myself. I've done this and that, and I'm just like, I just can't anymore. I need to just alka-seltzer and just let it all go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and this is a safe place to do it. I mean, like sometimes you just need an ear to hear. You don't need advice. You don't need wisdom. You just need to say it because there's something about saying it that makes it really powerful.
You needed a meeting, Christy.
I needed a meeting. Oh, did I?
Well, we got one.
Yeah.
Cosmic Christy says, "You're here, Misha. The world is better."
Thank
That's
you.
right.
You too.
I agree.
You too. And
I agree completely.
That's why this is so powerful. Because we are all finally coming together. We're using our voice for good instead of just being in our hermit shells or being in our masked worlds. We're coming together. We're sharing our tragedy as tragedy that we're growing and learning and loving from it. That's why this is so big. That's why the boat is so big, because we've got so many amazing people. That's why this is going to become huge, because there's just people being people. We're not out there faking it till we make it. We're being us.
Well, sometimes we are, and that's okay
Well, yeah.
too.
I mean, it does come natural, you know. I just sat back. That mask got so heavy. That I had to hermit, because I couldn't. And I feel terrible, because there's a lot of times I can't do what I need to do as far as like getting back to friends and stuff, because I have to have my world quiet. It's so noisy and so hard. And then even just everybody's pain, that is a hard thing to deal with. And we take that on, all of us. And so we all need to know that if somebody goes silent, we need to check in on them, but we need to let them do that as well, because we have to all be able to handle this and not get offended by thinking they just don't want to talk to me, or I'm not, because that's not it. It's just we're taking in so much pain from everybody, and we're triggering our own pain.
Yeah.
And if we can learn on that it's not anything offensive towards anybody. Y'all are all so valuable. We are all so valuable, and we're just doing the best we can.
You've learned things that it's impossible for us to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've seen that we're okay, and that's impossible for us to admit sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all are beautiful. Y'all beautiful people.
Well, you're beautiful too, and I know I'm learning so much from everybody. Like, it is just amazing what I've learned from everyone, and how kind you all have been in sharing your stories and being open and let me ask ridiculous questions.
Nope, not, because you are that person in our family that we wish we had.
Ask a question. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Well, or, like, and so how does that make you feel? Like, I did that to Carol the other day. She's like, we're talking about selling their house. And I'm like, how does that make you feel? And then I was like, oh, I did it again.
Some days I'm like, yes, please.
Right.
I felt like I've been slugged in the gut twice on this show now. And
I really like you a whole lot, Stephen. I'm sorry that I know that I was partially responsible for letting your gut be there to hear it.
No, this is reminding me that having pity parties is stupid.
No, it's not. You have to love yourself, and you have to analyze and acknowledge what you go through.
That's it. Yeah.
So just don't get caught up in it.
Do that for you.
But there's always somebody that's got it worse.
You know.
And like I said, for the first time, I'd rather be me than not be.
You are in yourself such a blessing. And that's the thing, is we all have our problems. They come in different forms, just like our human sizes come in different shapes and sizes. We all do. And we just have to realize how brave you are for coming on and sharing that with us, because what you don't understand, I've got a husband who's got cancer. And
I wouldn't want to run into her in a courtroom, I'll tell you that.
Anyway, you were saying your husband.
He's got cancer, and the things that we went through on that, I can relate a lot to the things that you guys are going through. And I kind of giggle sometimes when you talk about certain things, because I'm like, oh yeah. That is a whole other thing, and I can relate, and it makes me feel not so bad.
Yeah,
right.
Good.
And the things that I can do to help share my story to make somebody else feel better makes me feel better. Yeah. It is a give situation. It is a give take. It really is. Yeah. And if I can't,
it's amazing how that works.
Yeah, it's so great. Yeah. Because otherwise we are just stuck in our pity potty world. And if we're going to go through something, by God, let it be for something good.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Make something good out of it. Amen.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it and I think everybody has such a different perspective, and that you learn about yourself by, I think, learning from other people too.
Absolutely.
And there's no ridiculous story, and just because somebody might not know how to react, and I don't always react the best,
or questions,
but and it's amazing when you can learn, because power is knowledge.
Yes,
and when you have knowledge, you can conquer your world.
That's right.
And the things that I did not know that I now know, I see so many people in so many things in so many different ways, and I'm so aware because I'm somebody that I never would have known all of this.
Right.
You know, like I never would have, because when I came here, it was looking for help for someone else. It wasn't
So glad you
because
did.
of me, it was because of something else. And just, I can tell you, each and every one of you, just in sharing your stories and sharing what you went through, it has changed how I have seen the people around me, seen myself. It's made me more mindful. And so you sharing your story is doing that too, and
All
Yeah.
three of you have done that for me.
Well, like Cosmic Christie said, it really, really is. If we can do that, it takes a village to raise a child.
Mhm.
And it
Yeah.
takes a village to realize who is that village too, I mean,
Right, right,
yeah,
right,
because we have to,
right.
and I've got a whole thing on that because, it's honestly, we have been from generation to generation. I have a box full. We do storage units, or we did mainly. We don't hardly as much anymore, but we would do the storage unit auctions. And I would get to know these people as I would come into their world that they had to leave behind. And I make up stories in my mind and I try to get to know them because that's how I deal with the people losing their stuff. We try to find them sometimes if it's like the important paperwork and stuff, which
Yeah.
I've only got a hold of one person like that. But I have this box and it has baby cards from their shower.
Oh.
And it has a baby's first cut of hair. It's so beautiful. But I'm telling you, it has like 300 cards from that shower. This
Wow.
box is heavy.
Um,
And this is back, in the 50s. And it's like, my God, the people, the village that they had. How
Yeah.
many of us how many of us still have any villages at all?
right,
Yeah.
The traditional
right.
family has been taken away from us. And in turn, we have nothing but chaos because we have nobody to turn to. We're building villages.
Well, hopefully that's changing.
Oh, your audio. Yeah. What'd you say, Carol?
Hopefully that's changing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we're building
Yeah.
villages.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing, this online stuff I thought was going to be so cold and so cruel and so, coming from a retail experience and doing the face-to-face and the relationships you build, I thought, oh, that's just going to be so horrible. And I have met some people in this life that I would have never otherwise. And I am so much
Right.
the better.
Right.
So much.
Exactly.
Same.
Exactly.
Thank you guys. Thank y'all for being part of that.
Oh, yes. Well, Cosmic says, I created my own, and you are all a part of my village now. Well,
Ditto,
happy to
sister.
be here.
Right back at you.
It's funny how all of this compounds because I started watching Aaron Smith's Levin's show,
Yeah.
which got me watching The Boat,
Yeah.
which
Same.
got
Right.
me
Same
involved with
progression.
Carol.
Isn't it beautiful?
Maybe we should send maybe we should send Aaron or Aaron like some flowers and be like,
They're
Right.
having a fundraiser coming up like real
What?
soon. They're having a
Okay.
fundraiser for the Aftermath Foundation
Yeah.
this weekend.
oh
Awesome.
wow.
So that's
You
how we
know,
show some love right there.
Yes,
we all have our
yes.
platforms for that too, and like I've got a lot of like the antiques and stuff. We can all take our things that we have that make us us, and when we put them together in the pot and work together with it, oh my gosh, the things that could happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really,
Oh,
because like I've got the the online experience on that. I've got the antiques and stuff. I've got but also have the mental issues of getting stuff done right now. But there's people that have organizational skills that can help with that. There's all of us
Mhm.
have these things, and it's
Yeah.
just, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we coming together to do better for everybody instead of just
Yeah.
SBTV? I relate to that in a lot of ways, just on a whole side topic because
Right.
there's that.
Yeah.
But the people, the
Yeah.
struggle is real. And that's being
Oh yeah.
isolated is real. And I think that many of us can relate. And that's why it's been such a big thing for us.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yes.
in addition to addiction being something that we can isolate in, we also tend to isolate in our pain.
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
Mhm.
yes.
And it's
Nobody wants
Yes.
any of that stuff. They don't want to do, they got their own stuff. I don't want to give them more. But guess what? In
Mhm.
giving our pain, we also
Oh,
take away some.
I
And
deal
that's
with that
amazing
every
how that
single day.
works.
Well, and you know, there are people who are there who it's not burdensome for them to help you. You know, there are people who love you, and it's not a burden.
No, it is not.
That's
It's not a
when
burden
I
at
am
all.
on and I'm doing, like, I've never feel more alive than whenever I am doing a live chat on the boat,
Hun.
because
Yeah,
I'm able
it is
to be
neat. It is good,
uplifting
such good
and
stuff.
you know, that is Misha. That is who I am.
Yeah.
Outside of the boat, then it's like, oh, here, hello world, here I am again, y'all.
Right.
You know, and it's because I'm able to help. I'm able to take my mind off of my pain and able to help others.
Yeah.
But we
It's
just gotta do
amazing
it.
how therapeutic that really is.
It is.
That's right. That's right.
It's also hard though, and that's something that we all have to just accept and acknowledge with that. Because I mean, I know many of us that have gotten so into doing it that we end up hurting ourselves and crippling ourselves in that, and then hurting the people that we want to help because we don't answer back sometimes. And so if we can find out some way with that, some kind of something, because it's a lot of guilt on my end, because I have so many people that I don't answer back sometimes on a timely manner, you know, and it's like, that's just more people that I'm adding to my list of failures, and I don't want to do that either. So I, you know,
Right.
if
That's
we can
right.
come up with some sort of way to do that for people, you know, I would be better for it, because
Yeah, I would too.
that's what we want to do. Is we, you know,
That
there's
is
so many of us that have the big hearts and want to help.
Yeah.
Can you see us, Misha?
I can see y'all. You can't see me.
Yeah.
Because I ran out of
This-
internet a while back, and I tried to cheat and be like, you know, ooh, hoo, hoo, here's the sleuth. I can make this happen. And
This
it
this
didn't work.
this one will never judge or shame or anything.
Kidding.
Yes.
That one's chill right there.
That's
Yeah,
Grover.
Hey, y'all can hear in the background of like a blah, 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 blah noise. That's not a Tasmanian devil. That's actually my fur boys.
Oh.
They had ear infections,
Oh.
and so with the medicine in their ears, it makes them shake their heads. I did a breathing video. I haven't posted it yet, but it's a breathing video, right? And so it's all calm. It's got the wind chimes, and it's got the, you know, and you can hear in the background, you can hear, and I left it. I'm like, no, I'm leaving this. This is gold. It's got Brutus, my fur boy, my main one. The other one's my grandpup, but he is snoring so hard in the background, and you can hear it'll be all quiet, and then you hear, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm leaving it. That is pure sound effect right there.
There you go. Well, I hate to bounce, but my husband is going to be calling from Alaska soon, and so I'm going to go ahead and hop off. But Misha, thank you for sharing your story with us, and I appreciate everybody in the chat. And here's a good huzzah to end everything
That's
on.
right.
I'll see you all tomorrow.
Hey, I want to say something to you though, Christy, because here's something that you don't hear it enough, and you need to. You coming in as you did, and you being, I remember the first time that I saw you on the boat, you coming in as you did, and you were the normie queen, right?
Right.
You wanted to help somebody and did not know how. And instead of just feeling bad for yourself, feeling bad for them, and letting the whole cycle continue on, you genuinely reached out and you put yourself naked in a room that you had no idea what to do in. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you really did. And that was such a brave thing in and of itself. And the fact that you are not judgmental towards us and you want to learn from us lets us feel so much better. And it puts you as a person in our family that we wish we would have had. And it's what is missing in a lot of our lives, that if we would have had that, might have made a difference. And so the fact that you love that person in your life so much to do that, thank you.
Oh my God, you have no idea how much I needed to hear that today.
You are an inspiration to us, and you're not a normie to us anymore, because you're human too. We don't look at you and put you on a pedestal in that instance. We look at you as you are someone struggling too. You're a human, but you love so much that you're willing to go out. And we thank you for that. Yeah.
Everyone needs a Christy in their life, says Cussing.
Everybody does.
Right.
A few of them. There's a few Christies that I got in my life, girl.
Oh Lord. Well,
We love
thank you
you.
so much for that. You have no idea how much I needed to hear that.
We've
today.
done
Thank
given
you.
her the vapors.
Thank you.
The vapors.
All right.
I don't get it, but I love you.
You too. Bye.
Mwah.
Love you, Christy. Wow. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I've had a meeting. Is everybody else good?
I feel like I've had about 20 of them compacted into one.
Indeed. But it was necessary. We all
It
needed
really-
this.
I thank you so much. I thank you for your persistence,
Right on.
because that, it was hard for me and I wouldn't do it because I didn't have anybody that was just, interacting or playing crickets, lots of crickets. And girl, you kept on pushing forward because the algorithm was pushing you down and you kept on going. And if not for you, there's so many things that we wouldn't have been able to do. And so
Right.
much love. And Steve, the
Right.
fact that you're a man listening to all of us. Wow.
I said to these guys, I feel kind of like the big brother in here. I'm
You
the
are.
newest.
You are.
I'm,
And we love you whole lots.
Yes.
love you a whole lot too.
And
The fact
we
your
are here.
honesty just crushes me.
I don't want to crush you. I want to lift you
No,
up.
I mean it blows me back. It in a good way. I mean,
If we were all honest a long time ago, we wouldn't be as bad off as like I am right now. I would.
right.
No, there's so yeah. I've spent a lot of time in life spinning my wheels, and I didn't know how to fix that, but I feel like I'm on that road.
You are.
You know,
The road to
Yeah.
Damascus. You are there. You
feel like I'm
are.
on the road to fixing that. And it's never too late to stop spinning your wheels.
Well, I feel like the hamster wheel is my wheel, and I get off of it all the time. But for some reason, I get right back up.
A lot.
That's exactly what I feel like right now. I'm ready to hop off, and I'm going to skip the boat and eat and reflect on this. This is unbelievable.
Well, I get spun off the wheel too many times. I don't ever just get to step off of it, and that's what I'm wanting to do now. I'm autistic too,
Right on.
Christy. And yes, woo, yeah. I just
Oh
found
my
that out like a few years ago, and so
You're
that's
not too honest for here, Cosmic Christy.
No.
no. And I'm so glad that we have all y'all. I'm so glad that we
Yeah,
have.
I'm glad I have every last one of you guys. I don't know what I'd do without any of you.
Every one of y'all have made a difference in my life, and I'm not just talking the ones that I'm looking at on the screen.
She
talking-
brought me lunch and said, "Don't you have Carol in a few minutes?" So, you're part of the family now.
There you go. I just really love y'all. So
I love you too.
I'm gonna hop off too. We do have the boat. I probably will jump in and out on that because this is always emotional. But,
Yeah. Well, I hope you feel better getting to at least talk.
Yeah.
Heard.
yeah, because it's so much better to do this than it is to just.
It releases some endorphins that just makes you feel like nothing else can make you feel, not even drugs.
Yeah, like I've been at the gym for
true.
hours. Yeah. So, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
I had
you
a
for
meeting.
Yay!
being-
Yay.
Deuces, y'all. Oh, we gotta do the moment of silence.
Yeah, we're going to do the thing. We have, at the end of our meetings, we like to have a moment of silence for the person who's still out there suffering in their addiction, those who are struggling to recover because we know that's real, and also those we've loved and lost. And then we follow that with a serenity prayer. And sometimes we follow the serenity prayer with a huzzah or a variation of it. So we'll see. God grant me the serenity
God grant me the serenity
to accept the things I cannot change,
to accept the things I cannot change,
courage to change the things I can,
courage to change the things I can,
and strength to change the things I can,
the strength to change things I can,
and wisdom to know the difference.
and wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
Huzzah!
Come on.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Did I say it wrong?
I don't know. I didn't hear.
Oh, I thought
Let's hear it again. Let me see. No.
no. I meant the serenity prayer. Did I mess it up somehow?
No, I threw an extra thing in there.
Oh, okay.
Got a little creative.
I threw a
I know.
monkey wrench in,
I'm
but
like, oi, Aussie, oi, oi, oi. positive differences. Was
Yeah, I'm going to go back through once your comments come back up, and that way I can read everybody's comments because I didn't get a catch them. But I love y'all.
love you too. Ah,
All right, you guys. Well, I love you, and thank you for being here, every one of you, and we'll see you next time.
see you next time.
Peace, y'all.